How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another Bleach Thousand Year Blood War episode review. Today's episode from season 2 is episode 24. Too early to win, too late to know. Before I go any further, please be early and hit that like button. And don't be late. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this one. It's a good episode. I always know when it's a good episode when within the first 3 minutes, I have taken tons of notes and have stopped a bunch of times because it's so much good information. Not much how I did for my One Piece 1076 episode review. I'm going to break this one down into parts. Unfortunately, I kind of mixed up my parts here. So let's talk about part one. A little small, insignificant one. Ganryu shows up. Ganryu Shiba, who's actually Ichigo's cousin when you think about it. He showed up to go with them on the rocket up to the Royal Palace, which is kind of funny because his sister's the one that invented the Tikujin to shoot up and a bunch of different stuff, but he's joining. He really doesn't know anything outside of what his sister, outside of what she's told him. One thing I didn't mention, at least I don't remember mentioning it, one of the things from the manga panels from last week's episode was Yorichi berating Ichigo because of Orihime's super duper busty outfit, and she's like, you didn't comment on it at all. You're horrible. You're despicable. Funny moment, just like what's her name? We didn't see Rukia's butt, for that hot spring part. So yeah, more comedic elements that have been pushed aside so we can, remain a tone of seriousness, and we only put, funny parts where they should be inserted, right? Well, it is very interesting that Thousand Year Blood War does deviate from the original manga source. It's quite interesting. And it's not even a bad thing, and it's not even in a bad way. One thing I do want to get out of the way, that apparently some fans, I'm assuming it's Japanese fans, have been complaining about the look of this anime. This is Studio Perrier's probably best work ever, especially they've done on this series. I'm not saying that Bleach didn't look nice in the very beginning, but as it went on, it started to look kind of samey-ish, if you understand what I'm saying. This is a great production. They've done an excellent job. Kind of reminds me of the people who are complaining about Chainsaw Man's art not looking just like the manga, with no offense to the creator of that, but it's such a unique style that reminds me of like Shaky Hand, that there's no way you can one-to-one that on the screen. This looks great. Shut up, or you're going to make these people not want to do this anymore. All right? Calm down. You're not even, well, technically you're paying to watch this on a platform like Hulu, but shut up and enjoy it. Now, let's go back to my part one here. Part one was Orihime talking about, last time all of them were together. Yorichi, she's going with him. Yorichi was still a cat. Uryu had went with them. They were going to go save Rukia. Best arc of the in the series. Just putting it out there. The Invade Soul Society arc is the best arc. But yeah, Ichigo is saying after all this, he's gonna bring back Ishida. He's bringing back Uryu. He gets kind of blush faced because he's speaking passionately about his buddy. He's like, I'm gonna bring him back no matter what. And everybody's ready. Everyone who was on the ground floor battling, they watched the rocket, which it goes kind of like this. And we do get Mayuri going, that was a hideous launch. It could have been any more straighter, really. Very, very funny. Now, what I initially almost had as part 3. Part 2 is we look way back into the past, where Ichibe Hyosobe, the leader of Squad Zero, had a conversation with Yhwach, but Yhwach looked like young Zangetsu. Oh yeah. So this was way far in the past. And essentially he's saying to him, and this whole entire thing's in black and white. The only thing that's colored is the Reishi, the energy. And he's saying, as a balancer of the three worlds that's comprised of Soul Society, the world to live in, and Hueco Mundo, he came with the proposition of a non-aggression treaty between Soul Society and the Lich Reich, the area that Yhwach, rules over. He's saying that let Soul Reapers worry about the land of the living, and just worry about your empire perspiring. We're not going to interfere with your unification of the Quincy. It's a win-win. And Yhwach is like, this is deception. You're taking me lightly as like I'm an ignorant baby. He's like, that wasn't my intention, dude. And we get into who the Soul King is, not just in this, but when Yurichi explains to them who the Soul King is. So the Soul King is the one who put in the balance of life and death. He technically is the one who brought the fear of death to the people. The boundary that was everything that was once one was separated by him. And technically, now he is called, and in your watch's own words, he is a, matter of fact, let me just go down here, has become a mindless, hideous lump of flesh to be worshipped, nothing more. His parts, his body parts have been cut apart. And Ichigo said he's gotten flash of the Soul King in the Royal Palace. Well, he was in the Royal Palace, but the Soul King, and you know, this being with the multiple pupils, which Yhwach has in the past. Apparently, he was trying to get the right hand of the Soul King off of Ichibe, which is very interesting. Ichibe said, "You should be careful saying my name." And I love it because it sounds like a threat, but it's actually matters. Saying you should be careful, talking about my name. And he's trying to show him, he's like, you don't know everything. Let me show you. And you get the eye. You get an eye in his hand. This is not the right hand. This is my left hand. But you get an eye in the hand with two pupils. He shows you watching. He's like, this is what's become of my father. He is the son of the Soul King. And during this, we had a Quincy with the machine gun, and Ichibe, I don't even know if how he's blocking it, but it just gets blocked and just sent right back. It's crazy. It's crazy. But when Yhwach tries to take the arm, a giant hand comes up, engulfs him, and seals his. It takes away the multiple pupil eyes. He's saying you won't be able to see until you die. Just live a modest life. And Yhwach is actually happy. He's saying, I'm glad I don't have that because of what's become of his father. Right? And as a matter of fact, Jugo, I hate trying to say Jugo's last name. He feels something. This right, because what he wants to do is get rid of all the boundaries, make everything one again, and get rid of the cycle of death. At the same time, he's also he's saying he's gonna make the old world that used to be the three boundaries be the graveyard of that old world of what's going on with Seirete and the Soul Society. Insane. It is insane. And it's a common theme in a lot of shows. You got the guy that's trying to defeat the cycle of life and death, trying to end all that. It's being said you shouldn't do that and blah blah bad things. But saying so here's personally, I'm like, no, let's get rid of the whole cycle of life and death. Everybody live forever. I'm on board for that, personally. But then when you have a guy like this who's just going around just murdering everybody, yeah, you're kind of insane. Especially given that he doesn't really give a shit about his followers. Pretty sure they don't even realize he doesn't give a shit about them. But yep, that is our part 2, understanding everything that's going on with this being known as the Soul King. And back on part 4, sorry, on to part 3 here. We meet the Quincy's, or should I say, Yhwach's Royal Guard, which is comprised of Sternritter W, Nazol Weisel, the Wind. He was quickly killed by the Great Weaver, because their banter is amazing, because he's saying, oh, I'm sorry I didn't fully explain my powers, because his ability is to warp and stop anyone from turning the blade against him. And it's an instinctive thing. So even if someone tries to attack him from behind, the blades bend. And he says, as a matter of fact, he repulses people's bodies away so much that he swiped his hand and killed 3 of the ninjas. The Soul King ninjas, blades of the Soul King, just cuts them right in half. But she, with her golden hand and her giant needle and thread, made him outfit. And she said, I leave my sewing needles in. And he just gets spiked to death. Dude is just dead at that point. So he's gone. We have Stern Ritter X, Lily Barrio, the X axis has an X mark on there. He has a bazooka. He's a black dude. I'm keeping note of Kubo's black characters. All right. I remember not liking him from the manga. That's all I'm gonna say about that because he pisses me off. Yeah, Stern Ritter C, Paranoid Parkagagagis, Parknagis. I'm assuming it's a robot because it looks like oh goodness, what are those things from Final Fantasy that carry the lanterns that have the knife that can just instantly KO you? It's like a mixture of Vivi and that thing. I forget what those things are called, but yeah. They have Stern Ritter M, Gerard Valkyrie, who it's pretty much the most natural sounding name of the Stern Ritters that this man has made. Dude has like a Thor thing going on, kind of. He has a sword and a shield. Uh, and then we have Stern, and someone who got upgraded was Askin Nak Lavar, the guy who was inside the science area. He said she's Stern Ritter D. I was looking up him because I had forgotten about him a little bit. His power's pretty interesting. I won't get into that until we get there. He is the only lower ranked Stern Ritter that's gone up into those ranks too. So the Royal Guard includes them, Uryu, and Yugo. And yeah, they so they initially thought they killed Homegirl, known as Senjumaru Shutara, because Mr. XXS shot her, put a big hole in there, just blood pooling down. The little weird robot thing crumpled her up into a ball. After previously she called in a massive ninja guard that he crumpled before her. But when it came to Black Ninjas, the Soul King versus the white German Nazi dudes, the ninjas beat their regular ground troops. And then when you get the named officers, that's when people start getting failed, right? But let's talk about the Royal Guards of Squad Zero, because I'm pretty sure no one's gonna remember those names from season 1. I certainly have forgotten a few, even my favorite one out of them. But let's go in order of how they appear to us. You have the Holy Guard of the North, Officer 4. That's the Great Weaver Senjumaru Shotara. We have Holy Guard of the East, Officer 1. The Hot Spring Demon, Tenjiro Kirinji. You have the second officer, my favorite, Holy Guard of the South, my homegirl, the Grain King, Kirio Hikifune. She's great. We also have Oetsu Nimaya, the number 1 Zanpakuto maker. Remember the guy who would do the countdown from 10 to 2, and because his name has 1, he goes oh, and he does the rapping thing and says it all in English. Another black character. Kind of makes me wonder, he was so cool in this episode, but it's like, you do the hip-hop thing, it's kind of cliche, but at the same time I actually like him. He's actually pretty cool. That is not all. And it's funny because when they thought they killed Shutara, turns out, because Mr. XX is like, you may go up there, my king, because he thinks he shot down all the platforms so he can go up to the place he calls a decaying palace. And just Yhwach is just kind of just standing there because the facade goes away. All the things. And the cool part about Senjumaru, her voice is so calm. Like, there is no upper pitch, lower pitch. no ha or anything. She speaks in such an even tone. It gives like high class, always in control. Very. If you haven't seen it, please watch this because just the characterization of Senjumaru is, I enjoy it a lot. I can see why Mayuri would be afraid of her. Now, what they have shown is that all those Quincy's are stuck in the cage of life, what Hikifune calls her womb, because she grew the tree. She loves cooking, cooks with Rietsu, with spiritual particles, and the tree all around them, because it comes from her, more or less, because she can grow it out of her hands, and it's been fed off of her Rietsu. Matter of fact, the real royal palace was concealed by Ichibei with the big old thing that says concealed. He's all the way at the top, just sitting there because he's the number one. He's the big guy. And essentially, every time they try to, guy tries to shoot, the trees grow and they absorb it. They naturally go towards Rietsu attacks. But our man, Nimimaya, the Zanpakuto man, he takes this blade out of this, I thought it was vat of water, but XXS man says it's a vat of jelly. And he runs ruckshot on these guys. He cuts them all down. Like, first dude steps up, Mr. Valkyrie, instantly dodges, and he's talking about the blade. He's like, I haven't used it so long. So blade is kind of wobbly, which it was. But he dodges. The guy says, that's a good dodge. It's natural to dodge a man's hug. First of all, me and my friends who are comfortable with hugging one another, because if you miss your friends, you miss your friends. Hug your friends, all right? If it's within your comfort zone, hug your buddies, all right? Just, especially if you're like brothers almost, all right? Granted, I guess when the enemy tries to hug you, you should definitely dodge. Don't hug the enemy. They're probably going to try to stab you in the back. And he defeated him easily. One stab, dude's gone. Dude's gone. Didn't even see him stab. His blade instantly cuts the Rietsu bullet, gets him down. The little robot guy, before he can even do whatever weird magic crumple thing, throws the blade, follows up on it, just instantly on top of it, and then he slashes at Mr. Sternritter D. Askins. And he's like, oh, you smart, man. You took a step back when I cut it, because you could just tell that it was naturally super sharp. And he's like, damn, you noticed that. Cuts him. And we learn about this blade called Sayafushi. He calls it a failure because it's too sharp, it's too smooth, it doesn't chip no matter how much he uses it. It puts a swordsmith to shame, and he can't sheath it, so he hasn't sent it down to be used by anyone. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's your blade now, especially when the only sheath you can have is a vat of jelly to make sure it doesn't fall down and go into the freaking earth. But Yhwach gets out of this bird cage of life, flicks a medallion, teleports out there, comes face to face with Ichibei, telling Ichibei, call him by his full name again, and saying, you will let me go through. And Ichibei stands up and goes, no matter how much time I criticize and chastise you about it, you keep using my full name, you're going to lose your voice. Which is a little spoiler. That's actually true. Anybody who, like, if you're not worthy enough, if you say his name, you can't speak. Amazing. Remember, he's the guy who's, I think he named everything. And we find out that earlier on, he is millennia old. So, yeah. Yeah. It's a reason to believe that this dude is uber strong. Our haiku for the day is the future, pitch black, upside down. That's it. Very, very mysterious. I think Ichibei is the one that said it. Next week it's called episode 25, The Master. This ain't Doctor Who. We talking about The Master. I hope the episodes 25 and 26 is all of Yhwach and Ichibei's fight. That would be a perfect way of ending season 2, or at least part 1 of season 2, if that's what this is. Because That's one of the fights I've been looking forward to. Mm. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. And then hopefully, sometime next season, you guys will understand why I don't like X Access, and he can go f off. Middle finger. It's over there. Yeah, he can go f off somewhere. I don't like him at all. He is a jackass. Won't explain why. Manga readers know why I don't like him. But yeah. Good episode. Tons of exposition. Not tons of it, but you get an idea. Like going, oh man, that crystal thing with the thing. That's the Soul King. Yeah, it's the Soul King. You learn more about this world. Which is kind of funny because you would always assume that the people with the Soul Society are technically dead, but technically they're soul people. So that's how they can die. But then where do they go? Because humans become hollows. Do they become hollows? They become nothing. Like so many questions. Bleach was so much simpler when all we had to do was invade Soul Society. But this is good. This is good. 4 out of 5 from me. Not horrible at all. You're definitely gonna have to watch it to see it's the swerves, right? Oh, our guys beat your guys. Oh, well, I have this guy. Well, I killed your guy. Well, then your guy killed our guy. Well, no one's, well, our guy isn't dead. She isn't dead, but you guys are about to be. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another swerve from the swerve of the swerve. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I had a good time. Please leave a comment. Let me know. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified more videos like this. 1,000-Year Blood War is so good. It's been worth the wait. I'm rubbing my hands together in expectation of next week's clash of heavyweights. You finally get to see the real Yhwach fight. Yeah, I feel like Yamato was cheated. Don't even know if I even like that Yamato fight anymore, because it really wasn't the bad guy. Although says a lot if the bad guy stand-in was as powerful as the bad guy was hundreds of years ago. I don't know. But this fight's gonna be good. Please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Drink some water. Make sure you're getting some good sleep out there. All right. Make sure you're being safe. Please be safe. Be good, be blessed. Just be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. All right. Be kind to yourself. As a matter of fact, there are people out there that care about you and that love you. All right. Never think that you're alone. So reach out to somebody. Somebody would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. All right. My social media is at the bottom right there in the description box. Feel free to follow me. Send me a message. I'll definitely talk to you because I love having you guys around. All right. So please take care. I can't wait to see you next week. It's going to get on and popping with the master. Bon Kai.